Good morning and happy Friday. My name is Russ Lag, and I am your host today for the Big Agent Meeting. It is Friday, 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on February 28th, last day of February. Funny enough, my wife looked at me last night when I got home from a trip to Dallas, and she goes, "Can you believe tomorrow's the last day of February? I can't believe the whole month is gone." Of course, it is a short month, but man, it felt like February just flew by. We're already 2 months into this year. So with that being said, today we have a lineup for you that you're going to love. We have Renee Caspar and Wendy Forsyth talking about the Women's Impact Network. They've got a short segment telling you all about the awesomeness that they're doing. And we've got Carrie Zier and Pete Middleton coming and talk about EXP Luxury. If you don't know about EXP Luxury and why it's for you, you want to make sure you check out that segment. Then, of course, me and Brian are going to talk about some university stuff. Brian Ellington are going to talk university stuff. And then he's going to kick over to the one and only coach, Caliendo, talking about how to win more clients. You're going to love that segment. You want to make sure you stay tuned for that. So with that said, let's kick off today with my 5-minute market update, market minute. See how we do that? See, when you're in sales, it's 5 minutes for 1 minute. Exactly, right? So last week, you guys might have seen me have this conversation with you. And if you didn't, you want to see this again. If you already saw it, this is a repeat. And the reason it's a repeat is because I know darn well that most of you guys didn't actually do what I asked you to do last week. So I'm going to repeat this. And the reason I'm going to repeat this is because it's super important that you get video in your life. Listen, nobody started a master. We all started a disaster. So start from somewhere and get better at it, right? The great news is if you haven't been doing video, today is going to be your worst video ever. And it's your best video because it's your only video. The thing is we know people want to see our faces. It's the one thing that makes us completely unique. I was talking with Wendy Forsyth, our Chief Marketing Officer, the other day, and she said, "Russ, you need to put your face on that." And the reason is that's your only one-of-a-kind brand. It's the only you that you got. And I thought, ding, should have probably put my face on it, right? So with that being said, there's a lot of things we do in real estate that are telling people about real estate stuff, right? We're going to put up stats, we're going to put up figures, we'll put up charts, we'll put up graphs. The problem is that nobody's telling them what those mean, right? So I can take other people's material and just say, "Hey, I'm Russ the real estate dude, and I saw this, and I saw this, and I saw this, and what that meant to me was this. I'm Russ the real estate dude, out." Okay, so here's your simple recipe. I want you to say your name. Practice it a little bit, right? This video thing is not that hard if you practice it. It's really easy to hone in on your flavor and your style, right? The first video, I want you to do it like you just woke up from a nap. "Hi, I'm Russ, the real estate dude." Just do it real slow, or just do it, talk to it like you normally talk. "Hi, I'm Russ, the real estate dude." By the way, for video and when you're talking on stage, you want to make sure you bump up like 5 to 7%. And if you don't bump up 5 to 7%, it sounds like you just fell asleep, right? So just to get to normal, you got to bump up 5%. So then what I want you to do is I want you to bump it up 5%. That's kind of where I roll when I'm doing this. I'm up 5%. Of course, if you've met me and you've seen me in person, I am a little bit excited, very passionate, slightly enthusiastic. So this is kind of my normal expression when I'm excited about something, right? So what I want you to do is I want you to play with it. Bump it up 5%. Start the conversation. A little more up and down in your voice. No up at the end of sentences. Do you know what that means? No up at the end of sentences. No up at the end of sentences. Down at the end. If you go up, it conveys that you're not really that confident. If you go down, it conveys that you're confident. 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 Drop it down. Practice it. Play with it. Grab a word and practice going down with it. Heck, record yourself doing that. Good news is you can play it back for your spouse or your family or your kids, and they'll get a great giggle out of you goofing it up, right? So practice this stuff. Play with it. Just commit to 30 minutes. Set an egg timer if you need to. Set a timer on your phone if you need to. 30 minutes. I'm going to do the best 30-second video I can get, and then that one, I want you to throw it on social today. Okay. When you throw that on social today, I want you to tag me in it to show me that you did it. There's a little bit of accountability. Okay. Tag me to show me that you did it. Okay. Quick 30-second video on something, right? Hey, by the way, guys, start off name. "Hi, I'm Russ the real estate dude. By the way, I just saw this the other day and I found it interesting. If you didn't know that, now you know. I'm Russ the real estate dude. See you on the next video." That's it. Okay, start with your name, tell about the stuff. What does that stuff mean? Keep it short and sweet. Say your name and get it out. Okay, so practice your name, practice your intro. Hi, I'm Russ, the whatever. Find your thing, find your flavor, find your vibe, and then real quick on the stuff, and then use that same exact intro for the outro. And what happens is the video becomes super, super easy. Once you get a recipe for you and how you do it and how you say it, as soon as you start saying your name, the rest of the stuff is just going to start flowing. It doesn't happen immediately. Again, nobody started a master. But what you'll see is the video you shoot today and the video you shoot 6 months from now, it's going to be a massive difference. Heck, the video you shoot today and the video you do next week is going to be a massive difference. So I want you to do it. And here's the reason why. It needs to come out of your mouth. I want them to see you as the expert, not some expert throwing stuff at them. I want them to see you and your expert stuff, having expert stuff coming out of your pie hole. They're going to love you for it, and you'll become their expert over time, and business starts coming to you. All right, there you go. That's all I'm doing on video market stuff. Get it out there in the world. Tag me. Good. All right, so coming up next, the one and only Wendy Forsythe and Renee Caspar talking about women, the Women's Impact Network. Easy for me to say. See, we all mess it up. Go.
Morning, everyone. Renee and I are so excited to be here with you to kick off Women's History Month and celebrate all of the amazing women leaders that we have in our company and in our industry.
Good morning, everybody. Super excited to be here. This is such a special month. I am so excited to be here with Wendy to kick it off with her and bring forward some of the great things that we are doing. I'm super excited.
Yeah. And so many of you have probably heard this statistic before, but north of 65% of all real estate licensees in the United States, and similar number in Canada, are female. So females certainly dominate this industry. So it's amazing to have the month of March to celebrate all of you. And Renee, I'm curious, you represent our employee side of the business. What is that split between male, female on our employee side here at EXP?
What's really cool is those stats carry over into the employee population. So it's women supporting women in many ways, because about 67% of our population within the staff is women. So
wow.
We're all women.
Yeah. So it's very, very similar to the industry, which is the way it should be, right? It should be like a representative of that. So that's tremendous that it is parallel there. So for those of you that may not know Renee and I, you see our titles up on the screen, but part of what we get the great fortune to do is work very closely with EXP's Women's Impact Network. And in fact, aligning with our Women's Impact Network board, Renee and I are co-executive sponsors of the Women's Impact Network. So as you can imagine, WIN for short, so I'll stop tripping over all of those words as I'm talking to you all. WIN has an entire month-long campaign set up to celebrate Women's History Month. And that's what Renee and I are going to share a little bit with you today, are the plans that WIN has to help celebrate all of you and all of our allies for female leadership here at EXP. So it starts tomorrow, right? Like that's why we got the last Friday in February to give you this overview. So Women's History Month kicks off on March 1st and goes for the month of March. So WIN has a lot of exciting stuff planned. So here's an overview. Every Wednesday, starting next Wednesday, March 5th, we're going to have WIN Wednesday live streams. So this is going to be a live stream series highlighting women leaders here at EXP. We've got a dynamic lineup. You're going to meet lots of different people and really dig into what leadership means to them, what the Women's Impact Network means to them, what community and allyship means to them. So mark it on your calendars every Wednesday for the month of March at noon Pacific time, 3 p.m. Eastern time. We've got WIN Wednesday to celebrate Women's History Month. We're also going to have a whole social campaign going for you with allies, spotlights, and ally information. And Renee, one of the questions we get asked a lot at Women's Impact Network is it only for women?
Goodness, no. It's so important to be inclusive. I mean, we can't be anywhere without the entire population and that inclusivity. So male allies are super important for this to be successful.
It is. So, gentlemen, you are included in all of this and invited to join us, so that we hope that you'll be involved as well.
More than invited, encouraged.
Encourage, yes, that's absolutely right. So we are kicking off our educational series for the month of March, actually tomorrow on Saturday, March 1st, but look for an email today, Friday, in your inbox. It will come out after BAM is over. And we were able to score an exclusive interview with arguably one of the most powerful women in leadership in the real estate industry. And that is the National Association of Realtors CEO, Nakia Wright. Nakia is a powerhouse female leader, and she's just a powerhouse leader. We don't even need to give the label, but she is a powerhouse leader that has taken over the reins of the National Association of Realtors, the very first female CEO of that organization ever. And that organization has not had an easy time. Like we've all been involved in, as members in some of what's going on there. So she sat down with Leo, and they had a really candid conversation. And I can't wait to share it with all of you. She talks very candidly about stepping into, the lawsuits at NAR, stepping into a culture that is, has been very dysfunctional. She pulls it back. So you are going to want to listen to this episode of Success Stories with our CEO, Leo Perea, and NAR CEO, Nakia Wright, special for Women's History Month, launching officially tomorrow, but link in your inbox with a teaser video of a segment that you're going to want to watch. Renee, I can't wait for you to listen to this. You're going to love it.
I'm so excited. She sounds amazing.
She is definitely amazing. And Leo did a great job in this interview and really sort of peeling back to some of the most core issues that the industry is thinking about today.
Super excited.
So that's our come out of the gate big 1st of May. Then, of course, we'll have our Win Wednesday next Wednesday, the first Wednesday, of March. I said May, March. But that puts us hot on the heels of the first full weekend of March, where we celebrate International Women's Day. Yeah. So tell us about that, Renee. What do we want everyone to do for International Women's Day?
If you haven't already done so, before Sunday, take this QR code down and give us your picture, submit your picture to Accelerate Action. 2 arms up, 1 arm up, do it with a buddy, do it with a friend, whatever you do, just get us your picture up by Sunday.
Yeah, so the Accelerate Action pose is what they call this. This is actually the theme for International Women's Day this year. So we'd like to create a whole bunch of social assets with all of you doing the Accelerate Action pose so that we can share those out on social. And we're going to provide you with templates so that you can have some fun with this as well, because we know that great things happen when we get into action. So let's accelerate action together. And we know that you guys are all so engaged on social. So we just want to let you know that through Canva, throughout the entire month, we're going to have a whole campaign of social graphics that you can utilize and personalize. And we want you to engage with us on social as well. So to make that super easy, Renee, what can they do here?
You can take that QR code again, different QR code, and follow us. Follow Win on Instagram and get connected. Super exciting. And I'm so happy we're able to share this lineup and these exciting activities and events with you guys.
That's awesome. Yes. Make sure you engage with the Women's Impact Network on Instagram. Make sure you engage with our main social accounts. Make sure you join our Women's Impact Network workplace chat. That's the second QR code that you see there on the screen. Get involved with us. Help us accelerate action. Help us share our stories of all the amazing female leaders we have here at EXP. We are excited to celebrate this month of March and Women's History Month with all of you.
And tune in on Wednesday. That's the biggest call of action. Don't forget to tune in on Wednesday.
Exactly. Don't forget, Win Wednesdays at noon Pacific time, 3 p.m. Eastern time. We'll see you next Wednesday to kick off the series. And we wish you all an amazing Women's History Month. Thank you.
There you go. Come on. Women Impact Network. Yes, I'm glad Wendy had a tongue tire with that one too, because I messed it up on the way in for that one. But hey guys, again, don't be afraid to mess stuff up. Just keep on moving. It's no big deal. Okay. So with that, Women Impact Network, this is the month. Make sure you show up and throw those pictures in there. All right. Before we move on to the next segment, let's drop in for KGCI Radio. Ian Wheatley, take it away, brother.
Hey there. Thanks for checking in during the Big Agent Meeting to KGCI Real Estate on Air. Beware. The Ides of March are upon us, and I don't want you keeping that negativity in your life, all right? Set a reminder on your phone right now to tune in to KGCI Real Estate on Air on Monday so you can kick off the week and the month with our weekly Mindset and Motivation Monday. I want you soaking in the success so that way you're equipped with the mindfulness practice to go out and crush the close of the quarter. Also, a big thank you to you for checking out Tuesday's very first KGCI Real Estate on Air Live. We were joined by the queen of all social media, the great Go-Go Bethke, who opened up that social media playbook of hers. And it was awesome. If you missed out on any of it, we'll be revisiting it at the open of today's Friday Focus right here on KGCI Real Estate on Air following the Big Agent Meeting. It's also going to kick off more than 6 straight hours of insight, strategies, and tactics from top producing agents on how you can build your brand on social media. It covers Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, YouTube, LinkedIn strategies, everything under that social media sun that you need to know so you can expand your influence here in 2025. And if you miss out on any of it, it's all available on demand at realestateonair.fm, or better yet, scan this code and download our mobile app for iPhone and Android, and we're going to have all of it for you wherever you listen to podcasts. So be sure to subscribe today to KGCI Real Estate on Air.
All right, there you go. Talk about a guy that has cultivated that voice. You can do that too. Start playing with it on video. You can have a voice like that too. Well, maybe you ladies don't, but work on it. You can make it what you want. Okay. All right. So question comes up fairly regularly. I hear this more often than not. And somebody says, hey, Russ, tell me about EXP Luxury. Is it worth it? So today, in order to answer that question, show you what EXP Luxury is all about, we have the one and only Carrie Zier and Pete Middleton. Come on down. All right. There you go. Hello.
Hello.
I saw you guys in person this week, which I love. I think I got to hug both of you, which I love. It's so great to see you guys this week, and welcome to the Big Agent Meeting here on Fridays.
Absolutely. Thank you, Russ. And yes, Russ had me fired up when he called me one day and he said, Carrie, is $2,500 really worth it? I'm getting that question a lot. And I said, bring me on, bring us on and let us go through it. So what a great question. And I do see agents ask that. And I agree with the agents who ask that, because what is it? What tools do we have that really make it worth it? And as a luxury agent for 20 years in the business, it's more than worth it. And with me on here is our chairman of EXP Luxury, Pete Middleton. Thank you for joining me today, and we are going to quickly go through some of the top benefits for being at EXP Luxury. So are you ready?
I'm ready.
Yes, let's go. Well, to start with, let's go over some key points of it. This is an annual membership fee of $2,500. Through the application process, there are 2 questions that are always asked: is do you qualify to be a luxury agent? And we've made it where there are, like I said, 2 ways. One is by qualification. The qualifications are that you have sold 3 $1 million properties over the last 24 months. If you do not meet those qualifications, we have what we call an EXP luxury certification. And there's different ways to get the certification. We do have one online. It is $595. But if you do follow us closely, we do offer some of these for free. If you can catch them, they're at EXP Cons. There will be one at EXP Con Montreal. And there will also be one on our luxury world tours that we do, which our very first one in Spanish actually will be next month, March 18th. So if you are looking for a Spanish version, it will be a bilingual meeting, but the actual content will be in Spanish. So we're very excited about that. Pete and the Luxury Council, myself, Charles, we've had so many people really growing EXP Luxury and behind this big engine. And we're very proud to say we're up to 1,750 plus members, soon to be 2,000. We're working hard. And we are now open in 22 countries, which again, plays into a lot when you talk about luxury real estate. Luxury real estate is universal. It is amazing the contacts that you can form and really develop your own personal brand by using EXP Luxury and really getting in with our other countries, our other agents around the world, because we are, at the end of the day, one big luxury family.
Gotta love that.
All right. So Pete, you know me, this is the engine right here of EXP Luxury. When Russ asked, is $2,500 worth it? Absolutely. Pete and 4 other of our luxury council started back about 3 years ago to bring the best luxury program to EXP. And with that, we had to have a marketing platform, right, Pete? I mean, you list these amazing homes, not only in La Jolla, but now in Franklin, Tennessee. And when you go in to compete for that listing, how do you get it? You have to have more to show to that seller of how you can market their property in order to win the listing. So with that, I say we are above and beyond the best company to go forward with this when you present to absolutely win listings. We're seeing listings being taken from some of the top luxury agents and other brands in different markets. And it's simply to plug in. This is all done for you once you're a member through our presentation creator. You can print out and show to your seller all of these unique portals, which are Mansion Global, Wall Street Journal, James Edition, Haven, so many more, plus 60 international sites. This is absolutely put into a presentation within 30 seconds. It has your picture, their house, and it shows all of this in one click. Ease of use. So am I doing better showing how the 2,500 is worth it, Russ?
Yes, absolutely. There's a lot to it for sure.
And Pete, I want to give you a chance to come in here and talk too, because this is the heart and soul of our marketing platform, with how the agents receive a media kit weekly to send to their sellers, how they absolutely get a listing website per listing. And Pete, someone on your level, is this the program that you use in order to get your listings?
Yeah, thanks, Carrie. This is the program, you guys, I've used throughout my career, but what I used to have to do in the past is I used to have to pay per listing. And it ended up costing me somewhere between $50,000 and $75,000 a year to do that. And what we did with EXP Luxury with Tina Call and Jenna Caudell, Ed Kaminsky, Janie Coffey, myself, Carrie, we brought all this together. So it's real easy. I know there may be people out there at the big meeting saying, well, I don't really do luxury, or I'm trying to figure out how to break into luxury. This is luxury in a box. This will precede you into the door. So you'll have custom marketing presentations. You'll have custom listing presentations and pre-listing presentations. The marketing here on all these portals is priceless. And you get 10 listings at any given time, where they'll auto-populate to all these sites around the world. So no longer are you marketing to your city or town or to your county, or to your state, or towards your region, or towards your country. Now you're exposing your client's property in 22 global markets. And that's a big thing that sellers look for. This wins me the listing, I'd say 99% of the time, because nobody else has it. And what we give is analytics every week on how many people are looking on those sites and viewing the property. And you can click on it in real time and see your client's listing live on the site. It's right there. That's worth every nickel.
Absolutely.
Just on this part of it. It will win you more listings. And like I said, it's easy, super easy on the marketing portal.
And we had a huge success story this week that was told yesterday. I had not heard of it until I was in an actual meeting like this live. An agent stood up using this platform, one of our agents that didn't necessarily sell a high-end luxury. Off of the Wall Street Journal, which this goes into one of the portals, she received a $12 million lead. Wow. And sold it. Is that not incredible? So this system does work. We're seeing big results with our agents. So definitely something to plug in. So, okay, I'm going to keep going really quick. One of the things we're most excited about too is that we have devised a luxury toolkit for you. So you will be able to, I'm going to have a link for it in just a minute, but we hear more people wanting to know more about luxury. So this toolkit's for you. You can look through slide decks. You can have luxury explained videos. A lot of this is from our council that have spent years pouring into this. You can hear how they describe EXP, and also maybe you have agents that you're sharing this with. So it's either for you or you could use it as an attraction tool. We have shareables in there. We have our luxury GPT chat in there, and we also go over our online events. So make sure to check out our toolkit. It breaks.
We got about 20 seconds left, Carrie. So
okay, I'm gonna keep going. I know. Okay, so here's the luxury attraction toolkit. If you want to scan that really quick, and then also this is our fees, just a glance at those. But again, we are here to help you. Please give us a call. Please book a meeting with us. We would love to go over it one-on-one or with your group. And we appreciate your time today, Russ. Thank you for all you do. And let's go EXP Luxury.
There you go. So if you want to get into luxury, the first thing you got to do is just got to start looking like it, feeling like it, knowing what it's all about. So the greatest part about luxury is anybody can get into it. You just get the Look Like Pete Middleton toolkit, and then boom, you're done. It's over.
That's right. I love it.
All right. Well, we love both of you guys. Appreciate both of you being part of the company. Thanks for all you do. Thanks for leading the charge in luxury, and thank you for coming in today. Appreciate it.
Thanks. Take care.
All right. We'll see you guys. All right. Good stuff. Luxury. A lot of people are like, how do I get into luxury, Russ? Do the training thing, right? The luxury has a training thing. It'll get you the knowledge base. Once you have the knowledge base, you're going to start to see it. Once you start to see it, then it starts to come to you. And that's the essence of how you do attraction for anything, right? So get the knowledge base and the rest of it starts taking care of itself, but you got to start with the knowledge base. All right, there you go. Now, next up, Brian Ellington, University Update. Brian Ellington, come on down, brother.
Hey, man. Happy Friday. How are you?
Happy Friday. Super great to see you live and in person this week. Got to sit next to you in a meeting. I love hanging out with you, brother.
Hanging out half the week, man. What a special occasion. That was a fun week too. We had an amazing mastermind. The best part for me was seeing the Expand Investing Mastermind that my friend Brandon put on. That was our first in-person. We packed the room. Everybody's head was spinning with the things that they were going to go implement afterwards. So that was really cool. Hey, thought for you. I saw this the other day. Procrastination is not avoiding tasks. Procrastination is not avoiding tasks. It's avoiding the stress, perfectionism, or fear of failure that your brain links to those tasks. Ooh. And for us as agents, a lot of times that fear of failure is one of the biggest things, right? And also fear of judgment of others. And my friend Tony is going to come on in just a second to talk about that. But I want to share some other resources for you from the university coming up. So this week, coming up, this week. On Monday, we've got the amazing Christina Coco. She's going to share with you how to craft your powerful brand, build trust, and convert more leads. And that's going to be part of Level Up. On Tuesday, our South African friend, Steve Johnstone, is back for Referral Mastery. He's going to be talking about calls and pop buys as part of that series. Also on Tuesday, it's jam-packed. We've got Renee Rodriguez with Amplify EXP. He's going to be talking about how to drive deep relationships, which is something we can all learn from in terms of creating great, meaningful connections with our past clients, with our sphere of influence. And just people in general, by the way.
Yeah.
Also, too, we are starting the second part of our Elite Solo Mastery series for our top solo agents. Now, again, you got to be 4 million and above. And if that's you, you should have an invite in your inbox from Leo Pareja. On Tuesday next week, the amazing Suman Kim, who's a fellow Austinite, he's going to be on. We had a call yesterday talking about what we're going to talk about. And if you don't know Suman, go check out his YouTube channel and just understand that man did 300 million in volume his first few years in the business. I think his first 3 years in the business, 300 million. And pretty much exclusively from YouTube as well. So he's going to be sharing on Elite Mastery. Again, check your inbox for that invite. Then on Thursday, Sean Murphy, head of commercial. There he is. Hey, Sean. He's going to be talking about commercial, all things commercial in our EXP Executive Masterclass. So if you are a commercial agent, want to learn more, or if you're a residential agent thinking about becoming a commercial agent, do check that out. Also on Thursday, as part of our Team Mastery series, Leo Pareja and John Cheplack are back at it again Thursday morning. If you are a team leader, 20 million or more, you should have an invite in your inbox from Mr. Pareja, so do check that out. And then on Friday, our friend Felix Bravo is going to be coming on, sharing with us. And then we're also dropping a sponsorship in a box Lab podcast with Tony King and Amy Weaver. We talk about the three-way call. If you've ever had somebody who's interested in EXP or you'd really like to work with at EXP, but maybe they're in an area of expertise that's not your field, learn how to do a three-way call, or sometimes called a validator call, where you can invite somebody to the call to share with them all the things that we can do for their career here at EXP. So that's going to be a great program. But today, there's a lot of coaches in this industry.
Yes, there are.
Some have sold, some have not. Some understand, some do not. Some are in it for themselves, and some are in it for others. This man that I've got to be friends with over the years, Tony Caliendo, he runs ReTHINK coaching. And I asked him to come on today because he is one of those coaches who actually gives a crap about his clients, gives, and just an amazing resource. Tony, are you available, sir?
Hey there, Brian. Good to see you.
Hey, Tony. How you doing? Russ will be back in just a little bit, my man.
Take it away, guys.
All right. Hey, friend. How you doing?
I'm doing great. Thank you so much. How you doing?
I'm doing great. So we got to see you in action at EXPCon talking about NLP. And you and I got to talking, and I was like, you got to come on and share some of this stuff with everybody. So you run ReTHINK Coaching. I love your little sign in the background there that always makes me smile. And we were talking about the head trash we have as individuals. And so I want to start, first of all, do you want to give your background real quick so people have a sense of who you are?
Sure. Real quick, CNN version. Was in a corporate world for a very long time with Marriott hotels, and then switched over to real estate, and started real estate in 2001. So I practiced real estate through 2009, and then went into leadership, and then went into coaching. So I've been coaching real estate agents now for over 14 years full time. And I'm licensed in 3 different states, Texas, California, and New Mexico. I still practice a little bit of real estate. It doesn't ever leave you when you've practiced at a high level. And so I still enjoy that part of it. But my passion really is helping agents achieve whatever goal that they want to have. I think if anybody wants to be successful in real estate, I want to help them achieve that. So that's basically what I've done. And a big focus on our coaching and my coaching has been through the lens of NLP.
Yeah, and you're being modest. You've also coached coaches and understand coaching at a high level. So let's talk about the head trash thing, because there's this concept, and I've talked about it on BAM before, of negativity bias and how that can impact our perceptions. And that's not the only head trash we walk around with as agents, but
Right.
that is. So would you mind sharing a little bit about negativity bias and how it impacts us as agents?
Yeah, I think it's a great question right now. There's so many external things happening in our world that we can get caught up in it, and it can elicit different emotions or feelings or energy around what your perceived story is. And so head trash happens quickly. You hear something and it will trigger in you a reaction or a response. Your brain really wants to go to work quickly to create a story around it so you can comprehend the thought or the information that you just heard and are taking in. And, Brian, I look at it and I think, I love the fact that we have a choice. It's a choice to what we allow in and then what we do with it once it comes in. Yet the basic of it is, if I'm in a head trash space at 8 o'clock in the morning and on my calendar at 9 o'clock is to call my database, those two things are not, the head trash part's not going to support my success in talking to database, because that energy precedes you in everything you do. And that head trash energy is going to join me on every call that I make to people in my database, or if I'm calling FSBOs, expireds, whatever that might be. And a lot of it happens on an unconscious level. And I think that's really important for us to understand as well, is that we process about 60,000 thoughts a day, and 80% of those thoughts are negative. So they're floating around. And if you buy into the head trash and you assign it a negative connotation, it really does have a tremendous impact on you.
Yeah. It's interesting too. I was talking with a group of agents last Friday, and what I shared with them was, when you're having those negative thoughts, here's something you can do. You can just make those pups in your head say positive things.
Yes.
You can just think those positive things. And what I said to them is, if that sounds new agey and woo-woo to you, it's not. Because friends, you're already doing it. You're already making up that crap in your head. It's just you happen to be making up negative stuff.
Yeah.
So when it comes to our mindset, then in lead generation and in sales, you and I talked about the model of thoughts, feelings, actions, results. Can you share a little bit about that and how we as agents can use that kind of framework?
Yeah, 100%. And Brian, I think it's really important, the success formula that we've leaned into for a long time at ReTHINK Coaching is it's business strategies and thought strategies. It's not one without the other. If you practice one and ignore the other, you're going to hit a goal ceiling over and over and over. You'll hear people say, I had the same year this year as I did last year. And it's that marriage of business strategy and thought strategy. So the thought flow model that we use, the circumstance, thoughts, feelings, actions, and results. And I think we have a slide. I'm hoping somebody can pop up. There we go. This is the flow of the impact that we can have and experience if we have trash thoughts in our head or negative thoughts, negative energy. And so this model works beautifully for positioning us to perform at a really high level and to actually generate the results that we're looking for. So if we just take it through, and we've heard this model before, but I really want to focus on a couple elements of this model that will make a huge difference for everybody who wants to change their results. Is something happens. So something external, a circumstance happens, and that's going to create a thought, or like I said earlier, your brain creates a story to process that. And that thought or that story is going to produce feelings, emotions, and energy. Those will generate whether you take action or don't take action, and they also will generate an impact on the action that you take. And those actions or inactions are the things that cause the results. What we really need to pay attention to is the A line, the action inaction line. Most of us, so let's just say you and I have a goal and we're shy of hitting that goal.
Okay.
So agent is shy on their goal for the month. Typically what we do is we focus on the action line only. I'll just call 20 more people. I'll just do 2 more open houses. I'll just do more. I'll just do more. I'll just do more.
It didn't work last time, Tony, but it'll work this time.
Exactly. So let me just do some more of that. And I always joke with my clients that more wears off around 5 p.m. that night, because in the moment that you're excited about doing 20 more calls or 2 more open houses, you haven't cleaned up the thoughts and the feelings that are happening before the action line. And so until you do, we're going to get the same result. And so just what you said, if I am going to do the same thing over expecting a different result, that's not going to happen. So when we can spend time saying, okay, I didn't take this action, or I failed at this, this action, what was the feeling, emotion, energy I was experiencing? What was the thought that created that? What's the external circumstance? And we start reframing. I can't change the external, usually. I can change my thought on it. So like you said, if I'm having a negative thought, I can reframe that thought to be an empowering thought, which is going to trickle down to feeling, energy, emotion, which will trickle down to action and results. So it's really important not to default to, I'll just do more. That doesn't work.
Yeah.
Or if it works, it's short term.
And listen, I know there's people at home right now going, man, this sounds really woo-woo. And, some people kind of cringe at affirmations and things like that. Carl Jung had probably one of the most profound quotes I've ever heard on this topic, which was, until we make the unconscious conscious, it will continue to control our lives and we will call it fate. Right. Your thought processes are a biological thing that happens because of the way your brain is wired. And until you take the time to go in and rewire those brain pathways, you're going to continue in the same mental pathways. It's a rut that we get into.
It is. And Brian, what's interesting about that quote and about what you're saying, affirmations are great. If you don't change thoughts, that your brain's going to be like, hey, Brian, that was really cute. That affirmation you just said is real cute, but here's what's really going on. And so they're in conflict with each other. So if you want to make affirmations work for you, change your thoughts and feelings. That will empower that affirmation to a whole different level for you and will set you up for greater success.
I like that. Hey, can I switch gears on you?
Sure.
Because you are probably one of the most knowledgeable persons I know about NLP. And you heard Russ in his opening talk about this. It was unscheduled, by the way. I don't think Russ knew what you and I were going to talk about. So I'm curious, would you mind sharing about neuro-linguistic programming and things like downswings and upswings in conversations and how we can use these concepts as real estate professionals?
Yeah, absolutely. There's 3 key elements really that can make you win with clients at a high level. And it's in the conversation. So people only hear 25% of the words that you say. And we want to make those words be specific words be the words that they hear. So we want to focus and know that. So to move the client forward, there's 3 techniques: downswings, embedded commands, and tie downs that can have you win at a higher level and a quicker level with your client. Russ talked about it a little bit, the upswing. At the end of our sentence, if we have an upswing, so, Brian, are you ready to list with me? And I go up, that doesn't sound very confident. And it lands, the client hears a sense of doubt or uncertainty. Versus if we just say, are you ready to list with me? That's just a more confident, and it lands completely differently in how the client will hear it. And so a couple of tricks, Brian, you don't want to do this in person, but if you're doing lead gen, your voice always follows your hand. And so if you're really working on upswing, downswings, if you really want to work on your downswing, just use your hand. I don't know how or why it works, but it does. And when I would do presentations in front of clients, I would just use my 3 fingers on the side of my leg just to get into that habit of doing the downswing. Rarely do you want to intentionally do an upswing. Rarely. You might want to do it if you want to, you wouldn't consider selling this on your own, would you? That's an upswing. You want to create doubt. Primarily, we want to focus on the downswing part. And we as Americans are programmed to have an upswing, especially if we're asking a question.
Yeah.
I don't know why we're taught that. We just are. And so if you're reading something and you're working on mastering this downswing part, which you should, remove the question mark and just make it a statement. So remove the question mark, make it a period, and it will trick your brain into letting go of that natural tendency to do upswing. So downswings are really important to position you in a place of confidence and certainty with the person you're speaking to.
Yeah.
The other, I think, bigger piece is the tie down. I think we've all experienced where you're having a conversation with somebody that's going great, and all of a sudden you felt it slip. You feel the person retreat a little bit, or maybe they're a little more hesitant. And in a sales conversation, the more you can get the other person to say yes, the greater your chances of winning are going to be. And so a tie down is used at the end of the sentence to get the person to say yes. If I can get them to say yes again a couple of times, they will re-engage in the conversation at a higher level. So you do want to do the right thing, don't you? Well, nobody's going to say, no, I don't want to do the right thing, right? So they'll say yes. And that's just the pattern we're looking to get them to say yes a couple of times. Then you can just move back into your conversation.
Yeah.
And the third element is an embedded command. And that's quite simply before I would go on a sales call, and now I do sales calls as a coach, I set the intention. What's the intention that I want to achieve in this conversation with Brian? And well, I want him to sign a contract. So sign a contract is the embedded command that I want to use. And so in my conversation with you, I would use, when you sign the contract, we'll begin working on your goals immediately. A little pause before and after. Remember the 25% of which you say is only heard? The little pause before and after jostles your brain as the receiver to listen to sign the contract. So those are little tricks that you can put into your conversation that will increase your conversion while you're having those conversations with clients.
Yeah, I always think of those pauses as pattern interrupts, right? When somebody's talking and then they don't complete the rest of the sentence, it jostles your mind to kind of like pay attention. And the next thing they hear is that embedded command. And I don't know if it was before the 80s with Valley Girls and Valley Girl Talk, but this country as a whole, there's a huge population of people who speak in that upswing just normally. That's their pattern. That's how they talk. And for those of you, I no value judgments one way or another, but it does work against you in sales. Right?
It really does.
Yeah. And if you aren't certain or, how often you do it, record yourself, record your presentations. That's why we do things like role play, so that we make sure that the words we use, and it's funny, words we use absolutely matter. And, I was talking with Tony King today. We're working on Fast Attract, which is exactly what it sounds like Fast Cap, but for attraction, right? And we were debating words. I'm a big believer in owning language and making the words mean what you want them to mean. I don't like things like recruit. Nobody aspires to be a recruit, right? But we were talking, and what I said was, if somebody calls me Irish American, cool. If somebody calls me Patty, not cool. And so the words we use and the sequence that we use and how we say those words do matter very much. And you and I were talking about this with scripting, because it's something that some people just rebel at. What do you think about? How do you coach people when it comes to scripts?
That's a great question. Scripts, I believe, have a place. For me, a script will help you understand the rhythm or the flow of a listing appointment or a buyer appointment, especially if you're newer or you're not converting at such a high level. The thing about scripts that I am challenged with is if it takes up space in your head, that while you're talking with the client, you're so consumed with, did I say that? Did I follow it exactly? And you're so worried about the words you're saying, you're missing a lot of opportunity of hearing what the client would be saying. And I think the hazard with the script is if it doesn't go exactly as the script said it would, you don't really know what to do because they went off script. And so the value in the script for me is learning the flow of how the call should go. And there's no magic. The magic in the script are the three things we talked about: tie downs, embedded commands, and downswings. That's what makes a script work. And so I'm not opposed to, especially as a newer agent, to use a script. I just feel like it's not always your language or your words that you're comfortable speaking. And it can come across as you're inauthentic with the person you're having the conversation with. So I have a love-hate relationship with scripts.
Yeah. Yeah. I kind of think of them like GPS, right? So especially if you use Waze is really good about course correcting in the middle of things,
Yes.
right? It says, here's where we're going to go. And you can see the turns and twists before we even get going in the car, right? But somewhere along the way, there's going to be traffic. There's going to be, an accident. There's going to be something that happens that we're going to need to reroute. And we got to be paying attention to that GPS, right? We got to be paying attention to the conversation. I think of them as just dialogues is what I really feel are more impactful, right? This is the purpose behind a dialogue. This is where we want the conversation to go. Now, how we get there, there are going to be moments that are highly scripted, right? To your point about using things like embedded commands and tie downs. But then the rest of the conversation is going to be fluid, but you better know the direction you're trying to take that conversation and what the most likely routes of success are going to be and be able to adjust on the fly. I think that really, for me, is about script mastery. So, my friend, you have a program coming up, your ReTHINK Rise program. What is that?
So it's a 6-week program, and what it does, Brian, it's a powerful program to help agents do a little bit more about what we talked about today. It's 6 live group coaching calls, so 1 a week. And we have the 6 modules are going to take you on a journey, help you to identify one specific goal that you've been looking to achieve. And maybe it's, eluded you for a while. Identify that goal, work on the thoughts, feelings, actions, results that are stopping you from achieving that goal. Explore resistance, what has been in the past, maybe the activity that you've been resisting. Go into, positioning you to play to win versus playing not to lose on this category. Changing your mind from a scarcity to an abundant mindset. So it really walks you through this journey to achieve the one goal that you pick. That goal might be to sell more homes. It might be to find balance in life. It might be to add a team member. It might be to disband a team. You get to choose what that goal is for yourself. So it's normally $897. I'm making an offer today because I really appreciate people who will invest in themselves and showed up for this call or watching this call I'm recording. Is a special promotional price for the attendees of $497. And they just need to scan the QR code and it'll save them a seat. I'll reach out to them and give them the discount code that they can enroll with. And the next program starts March 13th, and it will be 11 a.m. Central for the next 6 weeks.
Yeah. And by the way, this is not an EXP thing. I know Tony, I believe in Tony. And if you got value out of today's call, just wait until you go into that program. You will absolutely love it. As always, thank you. Always appreciate you coming and sharing your wisdom with us. And I want to get you back next time because we're going to dig in deeper on the language of sales and what it really takes to be a professional salesperson and guide the conversation the way that you really need to guide the conversation and be a great fiduciary for your clients. But that's next time.
Next time, and I look forward to it.
My friend. All right. Happy Friday to you, buddy.
Take care.
All right.
All right, Russ.
Thank you very much. Guys, I didn't even know. I must have been channeling Tony there for a minute when I started today.
You're right.
Good stuff.
When you learn it works, use it.
That's right, man. That's right.
All right.
Well,
guys,
thanks for having us.
I appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right, buddy.
All right. There you go. So Tony knocking it out of the park. Yeah, it's like this. Like start here, guys. Start here. If you start here and you move it to here, stuff happens. It's just the way it works. Okay. So try it. Try it for the next 30 days. If you don't want it doesn't work, get your money back. I'll give you double back what you paid me. Kidding. Okay, so with that said, solutions, EXP solutions. We have an EXP solution of the week, and let's show him what that's all about.
Hello, EXP. Thank you for having us at your big agent meeting. We are very excited to be here. My name is Bo Blackburn, and I am the founder of SellerShield. Quick word about me and how the company was started. I'm roughly a 25-year real estate lawyer, real estate litigator, to be precise. In fact, I was one of the very first outside lawyers that EXP hired in the state of Texas to handle some of their legal issues. So I go EXP. I noticed a couple of things in my career representing real estate agents and brokers. that led me to found SellerShield. And number one is that everyone in a real estate transaction has some type of protection from claims except the seller. And I just didn't think that was fair. And then the other thing I noticed is that most of the claims come from the same type of problem, and that's disclosure related problems. So with that said, I want to introduce Madeline Hook to talk a little bit more about how we at SellerShield solve those problems.
Hi, I'm Madeline, the marketing coordinator at SellerShield, and I'm going to tell you a little bit how we help you and your sellers. So SellerShield has a free online disclosure platform that is specifically designed to protect you and your sellers from legal disputes and get you back 100% complete forms every single time. Over 100,000 top agents are using it right now, and they absolutely love it. And as an EXP agent, you have access to SellerShield's gold standard disclosure process at no cost to you. You can access your account directly through sellershield.com or through our integration with SkySlope, which launches in a few weeks.
We'd like to bring Brian Copeland in now. Brian is obviously an EXP agent and wanted to talk a little bit about his experience with SellerShield. But before I ask him some questions, Brian, I want to give you an opportunity to introduce yourself.
Absolutely. I appreciate y'all having me. I'm out of Austin, Texas. I have been in the business. I'm in my 24th year right now. We sell a lot of homes, closed over $500 million in sales in my career. And I would love to talk about SellerShield because anything I can do to minimize liability and risk for anybody involved in the transaction is always a good thing.
Well, I appreciate that. Let's do a little talking then. Obviously, you know about SellerShield. You use SellerShield. Can you talk a little bit about the disclosure tool that we have at SellerShield, how that's impacted your quote unquote risk management, and perhaps also talk about is it efficient to use our disclosure process?
Great questions. Number one, I go back in my 24-year career and I remember when we were using fax machines. And then we use scanners, right?
Yeah.
And now we're using online tools. And what an easier process today than it was back then. SellerShield has really made the entire selling process for my clients from the start. That's one of the first forms that are filled out. We send it with our listing agreement. And it makes us look way more professional than we probably are sometimes because we have this really nice system where they can fill it out online. And they don't have to go find a printer. They don't have to fax anything. They don't have to scan it, take pictures with their phone. And it just walks them through the entire process. And the more tools we can find like SellerShield, the better it makes us look like, but also it provides a better experience for our clients. And that we like to take all the way from the beginning through the end of the sales process. And then obviously your product has coverage even beyond that.
Well, let's talk a little bit about how it, thank you, by the way. That's very descriptive for how it helps sellers. But from your perspective as an agent, would you say it makes your life easier or harder?
Oh, 100% easier. When I can literally click a few buttons and send my clients a document where they can click step by step by step, and in the time savings, it takes me too, right? I don't have to answer questions that are answered for them in the program now, right? It gives them insights and tips and guidance on how to fill out this very important and potentially litigious form, right? And so it's made my job as a listing agent a lot easier to have this software to help my clients through the process.
Well, that's music to my ears. Thank you, Brian. What would you, for other agents who maybe don't know about us, what would you say are some top best practices for using the disclosure tool?
Number one, tell them about it, right? You need to make sure your clients are aware that they can do it. Some people are a pen and paper. They just are, right? But the majority of our clients, I'd say in the almost 100%, are more than happy to receive an email link and fill it out online. So number one, be aware of the product and be able to explain to the client what it does and how it will make their life easier, because it's all about the client experience in completing this very complicated form. Number one. Number two, it allows us to track where our clients are at in the process, right? Before we had to email them a form, we didn't know when we would get it back. Now we email them the form, we can see where they're at completing it and be able to make sure it gets done in the timeline we need to be in a position to do our job the right way, right?
Yeah, for sure.
And then number three is obviously we need to let them know what's included in that potential service in the SellerShield program to provide the opportunity to protect their interest in the transaction. And by that, Bo, you know better than anybody, but I believe it's $75,000 of coverage throughout that transaction and beyond that they would never have if they did not purchase your additional coverage.
Well, you just led me into my next question. That's exactly what I was going to ask you. I believe, Brian, you correct me if I'm wrong, that your sellers haven't had a claim yet to use our home sale legal protection. But if you could explain a little bit why you still think it's a good idea, even though none of your sellers have actually used our HSLP, our home sale legal protection coverage, if you could talk a little bit about that.
Absolutely. We try to encourage our clients to purchase it. Now, the beautiful thing about SellerShield, it's a free service. Number one, we get it with EXP, right? Number two, the additional coverage is optional. We do encourage it because sometimes things are out of our control. The other party can get on a tangent about something that's completely misguided, but we then have to defend ourselves, or our clients have to defend themselves. And so the beautiful thing about that coverage is it just allows our clients to sleep a little bit better at night, to know that they have some coverage that they didn't have the opportunity to have before. Because as we know, legal bills, as a past litigator, Bo, right, can rack up. And sometimes you are in the right and you still have to pay.
Totally.
Right? Defend yourself.
100%. Yeah.
And so that extra coverage is something I always tell my clients. I say, look, it's completely up to you. I encourage it because nothing goes perfect in life, number one. And number two, it's a very low cost for an incredibly high return of protection for you.
Totally. Well, Brian, I promise you we'd be brief. I think that's it from my end, unless you want to add anything.
What I would add is it simply, from an agent's perspective, it makes the process smoother. Y'all go use SellerShield. I'm not on their payroll. I'm just a user, and my clients love it. And it's made our process much smoother. So thank you for this great idea.
Thank you, Brian. I appreciate you being with us today. And EXP, good luck in your big agent meeting. And we hope to keep supporting you and helping you out. Thank you.
All right, there you go. SellerShield. If you guys don't know more about it, go jump in Workplace and you can type in those words and it'll pop up more information for you guys. All right, there you go. Big agent meeting running a little bit on the long side today. Sorry about that for the people waiting for iConversations. We apologize. But before we go, we got to drop this NPS survey. So pull out your phone, open up the camera, hit the QR code, give us a rating on a scale of 1 to 10. Let us know how we did. If we did a good job today, give us a good score. If we missed something, let us know that too. We always read those notes every Monday morning, so your input matters. So thank you for hitting the QR code. And last but not least, stay tuned. Tune in for iConversations coming up next. See y'all next week.